Hi! Welcome to our living room. You are joining us from the Disney couch. We're watching all the Disney movies in order because we're weird like that. And so tonight we're up to movie number 43.
Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet, I mean, it's, I think, something that I've seen once. Maybe I watched it half-heartedly, disinterestedly, because I honestly don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, so it's basically a take off Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island novel set in space. Ron Clements and John Musker, they pitched this one as far back as 1985.
Wow.
And so they had it on the books before Little Mermaid that they wanted to make this film, and the different studio execs just kept putting them off until finally they got to make Treasure Planet in 2002.
Well, shall we watch it?
That's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yes.
Okay, here comes Treasure Planet.
On the clearest of nights, when the winds of the Ethereum were calm and peaceful, the great merchant ships with their cargoes of Arcturian solar crystals felt safe and secure.
That was a swashbuckling tale.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
Pirates and space.
yeah, space pirates. I didn't know what was happening a lot of the time. There were so many explosions and aliens and random things. So it was really visually arresting, but as far as a plot, it was a little hard to follow at times.
And I guess if you've ever read Treasure Island, you know what the plot is.
I've
Yeah.
never read Treasure Island and I followed the plot.
The characters were pretty good. Silver was a complex kind of
Yeah.
character.
The pirate, was he a good guy or was he a bad guy?
It was
Yes.
both. It was like a good redemption arc.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
was.
wasn't just an all of a sudden switch like, oh no, everything I've been doing up to now has been evil. It was like he kind of slowly got turned over because of his affection for Jim.
There were so many other characters in there that it was hard to really care very much about one or the other.
There was a great Star Trek reference in there. At one point, the Doctor says,
Dang it, Jim, I'm an astronomer, not a doctor. I mean, I am a doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor. I have a doctorate. It's not the same thing. You can't help people with a doctorate. You just sit there and you're useless.
Which also, by the way, the voice of the dog was
David Ogden Spears.
from Frasier, and also he was the stick bug in A Bug's Life. So
Yes.
every time he spoke, I couldn't unsee the stick bug.
It's true.
That's why you kept saying that. I didn't catch that. I just heard you keep saying, I can't unsee the stick bug.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange phrase all by itself.
Oh, and Martin Short voiced the robot,
Yeah.
which I did not pick up on at all for some reason. I thought he was really well animated. His eyes glowed. So his eyes kind of were computer animated.
I think his whole thing was
He
Yeah,
was
I
all
think so.
computer animated.
One character that I think everyone could get attached to pretty easily is Morph.
That was a cute little animation that they had going on there with all these clever ways that he could engage in battle by morphing himself into two fingers that would poke someone in the eye.
Yes, wearing a Mickey Mouse glove, no less.
Yeah.
A banana
Wearing a-
cream pie.
To see all of my Disney couch art, you can follow my Instagram at Doodles for Boredom.
So did anybody get really the feels in this movie? Like, I feel like I should have.
Yeah, I agree. It's like all the pieces were there, the animation was there, the characters were there, the story was pretty good, but for some reason or another, it just didn't connect.
Emotionally.
Yeah. Well, let me just say that this is the only movie so far on the Disney couch that Ellie got up halfway through and wanted to play Roblox while we were watching. So that tells you something right there. Yep, it's destined for obscurity. But you know, the box office doesn't lie. Like, LA Times in 2014 said that Treasure Planet was the biggest box office flop in history.
Wow.
Yeah, it cost $140 million to make this movie, and in the box office they brought in 38. And
Why did it flop in the box office, though?
Well, it would be marketed to boys, right? So that cuts your segment in half right there. And at this point, they were also competing with Pixar, who was just coming on the stage, and Pixar was not owned by Disney at this point. And they just released A Bug's Life, I believe. I
And
guess.
Disney went, well, if you can't beat them, join them.
If you can't beat them, buy them.
Buy 'em.
Yep.
It's very unlike, the typical princess movie. So let's find out how Disney was Treasure Planet.
To the charts!
Do-do-do-do.
Book opening.
That ship
Nope.
has sailed.
Moving on.
How did it start?
It had cool font.
Oh, yeah.
Treasure
Well,
Planet.
okay.
kind of
And good
glowing.
music.
Now, here's the thing, though. The opening of the movie is little Jimbo reading a storybook.
Yes.
And we're immersed in the story to start with. And then we kind of pan out, and we find out that he's reading a book. And it's like a high-tech, holographic, absorb-your-brain kind of storybook.
Yeah, that's
But he was reading this from a storybook. They didn't open the book at the beginning. We just found out about a minute into it that this was actually the inside of his
That the
storybook.
opening was in a book.
That's right. Let's put it to a couch vote. Book opening in Treasure Planet. 3, 2, 1, go! Half a point for book opening in Treasure Planet.
Missing parents.
Yes.
yes.
Jim had daddy issues.
Yeah.
Jim's father just straight out just left him. Left him without
Jerk.
saying goodbye. And when Jim had that flashback, I thought, later on in the movie, I thought, oh, he had gone off to search for the treasure too. And somehow he's going to tie it into the end.
But, like, he's never mentioned
No,
after
nothing.
that.
Yeah, it was a real bummer. His dad was just a ditcher.
But like, dad with the stash. Can't see him, so we don't know.
We just saw his back.
Yeah, so just leave it.
Ooh, we only saw the back of his head.
Talking animals.
Wow,
They're
they
aliens.
look kind of like doggos and cattos.
But they're not really
They're
animals.
not animals.
They're
Yeah.
humanoid. But what about Morph? Morph was essentially a pet, and he did kind of echo back people.
Yeah, but he wasn't an animal, he was a blob.
I don't know if you can classify anything as an animal.
Okay. fair enough.
Yeah.
Other than the space whales.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I thought were still up there from Fantasia 2000.
Yeah, that was
Like,
probably a callback.
We've been hanging out here for 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. They seemed like the only thing in the movie where everyone else was more like an intelligent humanoidish creature. Humanoid, I don't know, some of them were really weird.
Yeah.
But the space whales were literally like just whales.
Unlikely partnership.
A case could be made for Silver and Jim. They were stuck together in the beginning, right? Against their wills. Neither of them liked the other. You know, their relationship went back and forth. And then they've got the negotiation that they have over the map. And so they both want the map, they both want the treasure, and they're trying to maneuver around each other to try and get it. But then by the end, Silver saves Jim's life, and they become unlikely friends.
Yeah. And they actually had to help each other at the very end in order to escape the exploding planet.
I think it's stretching the boundaries, but I think it would count.
All right.
Actually, half marks.
Well, if Gyra says it counts, then
Better go with it.
full points for unlikely partnership in Treasure Planet. Who knew?
Hidden Mickey. Yeah, not very good ones, but
Yeah.
they were there.
One was on spots on an alien egg, and that one was pretty good. And then the other contestant was when the Stargate was opening up, and there was 3 planets kind of in a Mickey shape, but we're not really convinced on that one.
Was there
Yeah.
any Easter eggs?
Little Jimmy, as a boy, had a Stitch doll on the shelf of his bedroom.
Aww.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Well,
A case
The
could be made.
pirates-
The robot offers like, some like gross drink looking thing, and then
it looked like it was made out of motor oil.
then the doctor said, no thanks, we don't drink.
No.
So,
And it was bubbling.
yeah.
But I would not trust anything that robot gave to me.
It was probably alien motor oil robot alcohol.
You get a
Yeah.
wrench coming out of it, like that could be like a cocktail garnish.
Sure, yeah. Celery, wrench, what's the difference? Yeah. Half a point for alcohol.
Witchy villain.
No.
No witchcraft.
No.
Cyborg villain.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
No witchcraft, just space.
Ugly villain.
Well,
Yes.
Silver was pretty
Yeah,
ugly.
he was pretty decently ugly.
Yeah, and even if we didn't consider him the villain, then the spider crab.
I think it was more scary than ugly, but anyway.
Yeah. Ugly too, though.
There was lots of ugly characters in this because there was just a lot of like,
Yeah, they're rough pirates.
and they
Oh,
were very alien
Yeah.
blobby type
I
things.
think my favorite was like the dude that you thought it was one body, but then it turned out to be like a little guy stacked on top of a big guy.
And then the big guy suddenly just grows a face in his torso. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And the most unnecessary alien was the flatula. Looked like a sea slug and talked in farting noises. Hey, let's put this in for the 8-year-old boys. Kinda.
Farts.
It was the Jar Jar Binks of this movie.
Death by falling.
Tons.
Yeah.
Most death by falling in any movie, I'd say.
I think so. So we got somebody sucked into a black hole.
Yeah.
We've got 4 or 5 pirates sucked into a chasm of gold.
Falling gold.
Some people fell.
Yeah, we
That's
had
true.
the creepy
Floated
spider
off into
crab.
space.
Yep.
Death by floating.
And I would like to say that whole scene where the planet's kind of imploding and all of the gold is pouring down into the middle of the planet at the end, that looked so cool.
Must
Yeah.
have taken them ages.
Yeah, this is why the movie cost $140 million.
Yeah.
Hit song.
I enjoyed the soundtrack. It was very orchestral with
Yeah.
a little bit of a Celtic feel
Yeah.
to it. And it was, a little bit jarring to all of a sudden have the Goo Goo Dolls do like the identity song in there.
Goo Dolls.
Yeah, that's
What kind of name is that?
That's 2002.
it was a good song, but I don't ever remember hearing it ever before.
Yeah, I think it was mildly successful on the pop charts, but yeah, I don't think it's enough to call it a hit song. It certainly didn't win any awards. But I've got to say, I was happy to hear a rock song at the end over the credits instead of all this R&B stuff that we've had for the last decade. So thank you for that, Disney guys.
Romantic duet.
We don't even come close on this one.
Musical.
No.
And the protagonist didn't fall in love.
No,
Yeah.
there
Like we
was
had the
no
supporting
romance.
characters fall in love.
It was quaint that, that the doctor dog, whatever he was, fell in love with the captain who was a cat.
Yep.
It was quaint, but
It was
again, because they were secondary characters, you just weren't all that, invested in it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh yeah, they're getting together. Okay. What's blowing up now?
The kiss.
No kiss. I mean, Dr. Dog and Captain Cat, they got together and they hugged.
And then next thing you know, they had 4 babies.
Yeah, it was very rapid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you're presuming that, a year has passed.
Yeah. It didn't feel like it was lacking because there was no kiss. Resurrection.
No resurrection.
Yep. Other
Everybody,
than Jim's reputation.
and other than John Silver's heart.
John
Yeah.
Silver? Where
Wasn't that his
did
name?
John come from?
Wasn't that his
I
name?
just know his last
It
name was
was
Silver.
just Silver.
His name's not Long John Silver.
I think in Treasure Island it is.
Okay.
Either that or that's just the fish and chips chain. Who knows?
Okay, so
You
his
called
name
him
is
Long John Silver earlier. I was like, is that his name?
because you couldn't have a resurrection because everybody who died and fell very, very far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was space. You're not
Let's
coming
just
back.
suck Mr. Arrow out of that black hole again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pull a Leia with this one.
No.
Alright, Jaira, what is our total for Treasure Planet?
Total is 6 out of 14.
6 points. Puts it near the bottom of the chart.
Oh, wow.
Better
That's,
than I thought.
yeah, I thought it would be like a 3 or 2 or something. But no, that was pretty good.
So it might have been a flop in the box office, but honestly, to watch it at home, it's not a total waste of your time. It's an
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it says on the back of the DVD case. Treasure Planet by Disney. Not a total waste of your time.
It's visually entertaining.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, as well as share, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!
Now, can we watch the bonus?
I think you should go to bed.
Okay.
The bonus features aren't a total waste of time.
Come on.
Fluffy
Let's
cloud.
finish. Let's finish. We're almost done. Okay, go ahead, Jaira.
Batman on this one.
Go ahead, Jaira.
Resurrection.
Because I'm Batman.
Stop
Resurrection!